Hey, what's that I hear playing on your tablet?
The Bianca Burwell Show. Wait, she's coming back on there.
You are tuned into the Bianca Burwell Show on the Beat Drops Radio, your top 40 pop and R&B station. And as promised, I have a special guest in the building, and we are going to be talking about some serious stuff today. If you want to be a part of today's broadcast, the number is 404-826-9223. Again, 404-826-9223. And if you have any questions and you want to be a part, but you can't call, you can go on Facebook and be able to type the questions there. If you're on Hangouts on air, as I see some of you are, appreciate it. The Q&A box is open and we can see it real time. It will pop up. So we'll be able to answer whatever questions you may have. This is just this topic took me, it just really had me taken back. So without further ado, she was exploited, used, victimized, and in a living hell until one day she was able to escape. She is now a victor and touring around the world spreading awareness about modern day slavery known as human trafficking. Her name, Chong Kim. You may have seen her on CNBC, MSNBC, CNN, The Montel Show, speaking in various places, and now here with us on the Bianca Burwell Show. She is a speaker, writer, activist, abolitionist, fighter, survivor, and a mother. I would like to say welcome and thank you for being here, lady.
Thank you for having me.
Man, I had to. I would have been mad if you left and I didn't have you on this show. Oh my goodness, that would have just been it. I'd have been upset. Like, when is she coming back?
Then we'll have to do a part 2 when I come back.
Yes, we got to do that. So, I never like to blindside people, so I wanted to prepare you, and so we all comfortable.
Yes.
All right, cool.
Yes.
So can we start by talking about what kinds of dreams that you had as a child when you were growing up? Did you have I know what I want to be when I'm growing up?
Well, there are 2 things that I wanted to be. One was I wanted to be a singer.
Cool.
My favorite music was the Motown, Drifters, Platters, the Cleftones.
What?
Yes. Billie Holiday.
Really?
Yes. Etta James.
That's cool. Yeah, those were, you named some greats.
And my idol, my musical idol was actually Whitney Houston.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, she's a great one.
You want to hear a funny story, though?
Yeah.
Back in the day, this is after my trafficking, I was still using drugs. And one night, me and my girlfriend went to this house, and we were going to snort up some cocaine. My girlfriend told this guy, she said, guess what, my girl can sing. And he said, come on, girl. He said, let me have it. Of all the songs I picked, I started singing, Jesus loves me.
No.
This I know, for the Bible tells me so. And he was like, see, you're going to make us want to go to church now.
Like, of all the songs right now, that's what you want to sing right now?
Exactly.
That is funny.
So when I speak at churches, I actually tell them about that one story because nobody was touching that plate of cocaine. They're just sitting there. They're like, "You gotta go."
You killed that whole mood. Yeah, that was gone. That was gone. That's funny, but that was gone.
Yes.
So, I know your time is limited, and it's so much that I wanna get into with you while I have you here. So, I want to move to when you first met the young man that you thought was your boyfriend, that led to this experience that you're here telling us about now. How old were you, and where were you when you guys met?
I was in Dallas, Texas. I was about 18 or 19 at that time. I don't remember the exact month, but I remember it was 1994. And I remember I had a very low self-esteem. I grew up with pop bottle glasses. I was bullied at school. I went to an all-white school in Oklahoma. and I was called a chink, a gook, you know, everything. And I never heard of those racial words before until I went to that school. And every guy I had a crush on, they said, well, I can't date you because you're Asian. And so I thought, I guess nobody wanted to date me. And so here comes this guy walking into the country club, and he smiles at me. And I'm thinking, really? Me? You know? And, but he was very chivalry. When people think of how these guys groom you or groom the girl, they think that they're going to pop in the club going, hey, baby, what's up? That's not what they do. What they'll do is they'll be sitting there buying a drink. They'll sit by themselves so they can observe the room. And they look for the girl who looks like she could be vulnerable. So he'll walk over to her or act like he's walking over to her. And he'll be dropping something just to make conversation. He'll say, oh, is this yours? You know, the girls already know that spilling drinks,
That doesn't.
that doesn't work anymore.
That's a wrap. Don't do it.
Exactly.
Right.
Just like what Pinkwood says, quit spilling your drinks on me.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, that's how suave they'll do it. And if they notice that she's not smiling enough, they'll say, why aren't you smiling? Without without being too pushy. You know, sometimes when we watch like movies like Hitch or these other movies about these guys teaching this other guy how to be a good player, how to be the wingman.
Exactly.
It's nothing like that in the real world. These recruiters is what we call them, recruiters. Their job is to get the girl. And that's all their job is. So what they'll do is they'll walk up to her, and let's say you said you had a 17-year-old daughter. Let's say she's at an ice skating rink. You know, and she's there with her girlfriends. The moment she walks away from her girlfriends, let's say that I'm the trafficker, and I got my eye on her. So I'm going to walk up. And also traffickers can be women. Be aware of that. Because I will start wearing my little, you know, Louis Vuitton outfit, you know, with my handbag. I want to let her know I'm rocking it. So if I'm going to be the trafficker, I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, you got some cute shoes. And then she'll notice me. That's all I need her, is to do that, just to notice me. And she'll be like, oh, well, I got these at, you know. And I was like, from where? Walmart. That's okay. Look, you know what? It says, when I first got my shoes, I had to shop at Walmart too. Really? So what exactly do you do? Oh, I'm in the entertainment business, baby. But guess how much I'm banking it? Look, I got my Louis Vuitton bag. I got this. You know, I got Coach. I got Chanel. And then she's like, oh. But you know what? Enough about me. Tell me about you. And that's how it starts.
Wow.
And then she'll act like, then I'll make her think I'll be her big sister. More and more traffickers are becoming women now.
Really?
Yes. So they can target the young girls. If you go to a junior high school and you see an adult woman or a man, that's a red flag. But if you see kids there, you don't know which is which.
Right.
Kids are also pimping kids.
Really?
Yes.
We're going to get to that in a second. Let me ask you something. How long were the two of you guys dating, quote unquote, before you noticed a change?
About 2.5 weeks.
Really?
Yes.
That quick?
Yes. But at that time, my mindset wasn't, to me, it wasn't that quick. Because I never had a relationship. I never dated.
Gotcha.
My father never taught me anything about dating. He just said, stay away from boys, they're all dogs. That's all he said. And I hear a lot of daddies say that, but I always encourage the dads, talk to your daughter.
Right.
Tell her your own experience. Tell her some of the guy friends you knew that you didn't like their behavior and how they treated other girls back in the day. Because it will really mean a lot to her.
Right.
You know? And so, but my dad and I, we weren't very close. And so I wanted, and many times these young girls who are falling vulnerable are the ones who don't have very close relationships with their father.
So It's like they're looking to fill that void.
Yes.
They're looking for that special kind of love.
Exactly. And that's why the pimps and traffickers tend to be older. They're the ones who will say, I'll take care of you, I got you,
Right.
I'm going to be here for you. Why do you think a lot of pimps are called daddies? Someone
Well, I did wonder that because I was like, why they want?
calls them daddies.
Yeah.
Because daddy is actually the only man in a woman's life that she can depend on. Even if you look it up, what daddy really means. And that's why the pimp wants to take over that name. So the girl will look at him as the ultimate man in her life. That's how narcissistic these pimps are.
Thanks for answering that question because
Exactly.
it's one of those, you hear it, but I didn't put the two together,
Yes.
quite like that.
That's why they have their girls call them daddy.
Wow.
I had a guy who said, can I be your daddy? And I said, what are you, an incest?
Right. Like, that's not normal.
Exactly.
Now, of course I have my notes, but sometimes I do come off script,
That's fine.
but I remember in 2009, the movie Taken, when my family and I, actually, we had gotten that movie and we watched it. I think all of us watched it as a family. We were watching that movie. And, you have a family basically that's kind of broken. I think they were divorced.
Yes.
Yeah, it was a divorce situation, and she wanted to go visit her friend, I think in France or something like that. Okay, and the father was like, didn't really.
Wasn't feeling it.
He was like, but then the mother is like, well, and she went and ended up, being taken. Now, as I was watching that, I was like, I've always been like this. If they're making a movie about it, it's happening. And when I watched that, I was like, this is like for real happening somewhere. They wouldn't make this movie like this. But when you came in the other day and you were on the ATL show, that's here also on the Beat Drops Radio, I was sitting here like, that's happening here? And I went home and I talked to my husband, I talked to my kids. And I was like, man, I gotta have her on the show because I didn't know it was as extensive.
Yes.
That's why I was telling him that I did not know it was that extensive and that it was like right here. So, I was like, man, I'm about to tell everybody that you're coming on so that,
Exactly.
they can be aware. Because I know I couldn't be the only one that's sitting in ignorance. I don't have a problem admitting it. I didn't know. And that's, I believe, what your job is,
Yes.
And why you've gone through all the things that you've gone through so that you can be enlightenment towards people like myself and others to bring attention to this. So can you describe for us what happened when you realized, that you had been betrayed and how many years were you held?
When I was being so-called taken, I didn't know what human trafficking was until 2003. So when I was taken in 1995 through 1997, I just thought it was just prostitution. So I felt shameful. I felt like it was my fault. I felt like, and I grew up from a very strict religious family as well.
Wow.
My mom was the type of person that would say, if you do that, you're going to go to hell. If you do that, you're going to go to hell.
Right.
And I think parents need to be very careful what we say to our kids. Because when I went through this, I actually thought God was punishing me. That's what I thought. And so by the time when I was going through this, I also developed what's called a disassociation. It's a mental terminology. When someone goes through so much trauma, their brain, their mentality can't take it. So they split. If you ever see my movie, Abduction of Eden, on Netflix, on Redbox, and Amazon, you'll notice that she starts out as Hyunjae, which is her name given by her parents. But when she transforms into that trafficking ring, they give her the name Eden. Eden was not my name, but my trafficker said, your name is Jules, because you will be a jewel to all the men. And the Stockholm Syndrome in my brain was thinking, yay, I'm being picked. Because one of the things that I spoke at Kennesaw State University yesterday, and they said that they've worked with a lot of young girls that ran away. Then they find out that they were with pimps, and then they go back to the pimps, and they said, "We don't understand that." And I
Right.
said, "I do." The number one thing that makes these girls go back to their pimps, abusers, batterers, or even traffickers, rejection. Because if you think about it, when a child is first born, if they're being born into an abusive family, that's their first rejection. Then they get sent to foster home, second rejection. Nobody wants to stay by their side. Nobody wants to hone them and love them.
Right.
So the only people left that won't reject them are the pimps, the thugs, the traffickers, the mobs, the gang members. Because they know that they are so afraid of rejection, they will do anything just to feel a part of something. Isn't that sad?
Yeah, that is. That is. So the abuse doesn't have to always be physical. It can be mental.
Exactly. I remember when I was telling AC, we were sitting in her living room, and I told her, I said, I was just scrolling through my playlist, and I heard "Make It Real" by the Jets. And for some odd reason, that song does something different to me now. I remember listening to it as a kid, thinking, oh, this sounds beautiful. But I remember when I was with my head trafficker. I don't remember what it was, but we got into a huge fight. I was naked, and he threw me out of the house. And it was February, because I remember it was cold outside. And he locked me out. A normal person would say, well, you were able to get free. Why didn't you just run away? But psychologically, I wanted him to love me. So I would literally kneel outside naked, rub my hands together and saying, I'm sorry, I won't do it again, I won't do it again. I was breaking down and mentally. And when he said he forgave me for being a bad girl and not complying to his rules, I didn't have a name. He didn't give me Jules. He would call me concubine. I had to call him master.
What?
So that's how it was.
Wow.
So when he brought me in the house, I played the song "Make It Real," and I dedicated that song to him. You know, and he would be like, "I don't listen to that kind of trash," you know, and it really hurt me.
Right.
And then I look back and I was thinking, what was I thinking? You know, and it's almost like you have become a total different person when you were in it. That all the decisions you made, every choice you made, was something you would normally not do.
Right.
And that's when I decided to do more research on the psychological development and the trauma that victims go through when we're in it, just like battered women syndrome.
Right.
When women won't leave their husbands.
Exactly.
People say, well, why don't you leave him? Well, it's not more than just leaving. What about the financial security? What about the him coming after your family members?
It's the fear of the unknown.
Exactly.
You don't know what's going to happen. You know, how am I going to take care of myself? How am I going to eat?
Exactly.
And I talked to a life coach about that too, and she had gone through abuse herself. And she was saying it's not a matter of you can just pick up and walk away like some people who haven't gone through this.
Exactly.
They don't understand that it's a whole mental thing, like, oh my God, what am I going to do?
And also rejection. It still goes back to that first point of rejection. Because even as me, after my trafficking, I fell into domestic violence as well. And I felt like, gosh, I'm so stupid. You'd think you learned the first time. And then here I am back again. Until I took 1 year away from dating completely.
Right.
To learn who I am. To study who I am, what I love, what inspires me, what ignites my heart. So that way I could be a better partner for the next man. So that way, what Mary J. Blige calls it, I don't have to throw my baggages at him.
Right. That is a great stopping point. We're going to take a quick break, reset, and we got a lot more that we're going to be talking about. So keep it locked right here on the Bianca Burwell Show. Man, Chong Kim, modern day slavery. human trafficking. It's real.
It's real.
Call the number 404-826-9223. Keep it locked right here.
No new friends, no. DJ Khaled. Still here with my day one. So you hear me say, no new friends, no new friends, no new friends, no. I still ride with my day one.